do place them into Q&A. That way we can follow your questions and we don't lose them as they go up the chat. So please, all questions into Q&A, and feel free to make comments in the chat if you want. If you are making comments that you want the other participants to see, just please make sure that you change the default from your chat from all panelists to all panelists and attendees. Zoom does default everybody to all panelists as a starting point. I see we have Adnan and Hani and Janet and Juliet. You're all more than welcome to say hello. Drop in the city that you are coming in from. It will just reinforce to everybody here just what a multinational and international group we have, not only obviously for the pre-program information sessions, but for the diplomas themselves. That of course being one of the strengths, and I find both personally and from others, just what a powerful thing that is. We have, and wonderful, we have Maureen Denny, and please forgive me if I don't pronounce your name correctly, from Cape Town, and Adnan from Abu Dhabi. Adnan coming in from Abu Dhabi with the banking program. Wonderful. Please do, if you can, both of you change your settings to all panelists and attendees. Just remember, if it's set to all panelists, only myself and my fellow panelists can see it. If you do want everybody to see it, then make sure that you can change it. That's very easy. Just go down to chat where it says to. There is a little drop down there, and currently you'll see that the 2 is set to all panelists. Just drop down and find all panelists and attendees. I see some of you are still struggling with that. Nafiu, who's coming in from Bedford, UK. Again, no one can see your comments until you change it. I can see people are doing that. Janet from India, wonderful. And Hani from Abu Dhabi, salam alaikum, marhaba. And welcome to everyone coming in from the Middle East. Namaste, and welcome to everyone coming in from India, and the rest of the world as well. We're looking forward to seeing Mexico. Juliet, buenvenido. It's a pleasure to have you with us, Julieta. And let's jump straight into it. Yes, please. If you're typing in where you are, do use the chat. If you're typing in questions, use the Q&A. That's the distinction we're going to make today. I can see Rajendra coming in from Mauritius, the beautiful land of Mauritius. And again, a real pleasure to have you all with us. What are we doing today? So just a few quick words to introduce your speaker, your course leader. We're going to talk a little bit about Emeritus, overview the diploma. We have a little exercise for you in design thinking, just to whet your appetite and get you into the mind frame of design thinking and the customer centricity behind design thinking. We'll talk a few words about Emeritus Network, and then we have a surprise. We have an alumni that we are going to hear from, who will share his experiences from the program. And after that, during the Q&A, you'll have a chance to ask him questions and ask myself questions as a course leader. And of course, you'll also can ask my fellow panelists from Emeritus, from the team here, any other questions that are not specifically academic questions. So I think that's enough, pretty much enough of an introduction. I am a course leader with this program now for over 4 years. I looked on LinkedIn and I saw that it's 4 years and 1 month. And I thought, oh my God, how time flies when you're having fun. And it's a lot of fun. It's obviously serious work as well that we do here, but it's just a lot of fun. Teaching this course and being your course leader in supporting the great and renowned faculty of professors from MIT, from Dartmouth, and from Columbia University that are presenting the 3 courses that again then we add the capstone to. Just a quick word about my background. I am a course leader, as I said, in innovation here, and I have been in the innovation sphere for over 11 years, including as a head of internal innovation at MDocs. Those of you in India have probably heard about MDocs. Over 5,000 employees of MDocs actually are from India, and I am based in Sydney, Australia, which is great for you because it means that I'm able to cover the entire time span from the US all the way to Australia, and that's also obviously something that's very positive. Emeritus, for those of you who haven't heard, but hopefully you have done some research, is today the leading online institute for groundbreaking and crucial career improving courses, whether they be in innovation like this diploma, or in leadership or digital marketing, or the other areas that are just so crucial, and most of us need to catch up if we haven't done that yet, because these are absolutely positive skills to have. So the main advantage, and one of the reasons I love Emeritus so much, and I'm so excited about being one of the course leaders at Emeritus, is that it brings together literally the best universities and the best business schools from around the world. Including MIT, including Columbia, including Dartmouth, including Cambridge, and more top schools are joining all the time. So as you can see, over 66,000 students from all over the world, and this diploma really is as a former innovation manager, I can tell you that one of my biggest problems when I was looking to recruit people is that I could not find suitably qualified people. Maybe somebody had done a little bit of design thinking, or had some exposure to strategy based on their background in the R&D department. But I wish that way back, now we're talking of over 6 years ago, when I was managing internal innovation at MDocs, I wish I had the graduates from this course, because that would have made my life so much easier in hiring good people, because the quality, of course, of the people doing this course is very high, and that's another advantage for you, because you know that for your group assignments and your teamwork, you'll be working with high caliber professionals, and that of course makes a huge difference. All right, a little bit about the overview. So you can see here some statistics and some numbers. I'm not planning to go into every single one of them. 4 to 6 hours, I would say that's fair. I just want to say that obviously, if you any additional time that you invest in doing additional reading and additional work is only going to benefit you. So 4 to 6 hours is probably a good estimate, but it would be the minimum. And so don't let that worry you in any sense. Any additional work that you do for anything in life will just make your knowledge grow and make things better for you. We are looking at 3 courses plus a capstone at the end. The 3 courses are design thinking. Anyone here has any background experience with design thinking? Put a smiley into into your 2. I would love to see a smiley face if you have done some design thinking work before. If you haven't, that's also totally fine. What we find is that we don't assume any prior knowledge. So a sad face that will turn into a happy face. The answer when you do the course, we don't assume any prior knowledge in any of these subjects. So I see no one here has done work in design thinking, and that's another great reason to do this diploma, because this the design thinking work, project work you're doing, it's not, of course, there's going to be some theory, but it's very practical. It's very hands-on. You'll be doing a project with your team that's based on real world challenges that you're going to identify. I can see Janet is putting a smiley face, so I can see Janet, you have done some design thinking work already. That's fantastic. We find that again, we have a mix of professionals from different backgrounds, from different nationalities, from different industries, and that's just another aspect that makes this diploma so exciting to be part of. Obviously, for me, teaching it, and also for you as students taking part in it. So design thinking, as I said, absolute must-have today. I would say that it's a differentiator. Even if you're not planning to become an innovation manager, and you are in today, whether you're in a back office role in finance or HR or consulting, or whether you're directly customer facing, it doesn't really matter. It's a must-have skill, design thinking, and the main advantage, one of the main advantages, apart from learning design thinking, is you're going to come out of this diploma with the experience of a global project, being part of a global team in a real challenge project that you'll do. So you'll actually be able to say in your next job interview, whether it's internal in your company or you're moving to a different role, give actual details of a real project that you took part in, and that's really important as well. Breakthrough innovation, one of the best approaches to innovation and to creativity, based on the systematic inventive thinking program devised by Professor Jacob Goldberg from Columbia University, with lots of industry examples, lots of discussions in all of these courses. And finally, I just want to say the jewel in the crown, strategic innovation, or strategy is innovation, based on Professor Vijay Govindrajat from Dartmouth University, based on his three-box solution, an absolute crucial course to do, because most courses that you will do are ideation-based courses and take you through ideation. Strategy is a strategic, literally a strategic course that shows you what to do, not only in terms of ideation for new products and services that are what we call box 3, that are future products and services, but also it takes you into implementation. And that's something that almost no other courses that I'm familiar with do. It actually teaches you how to take a green-lighted idea and implement it to ensure that the startup that you're creating, whether it's your own startup or an internal startup in an organization, ends up succeeding, as opposed to being killed, which unfortunately a lot of startups are killed by corporations. So we teach you how to avoid all those mistakes and how to ensure that your innovation experiments succeed and become new lines of businesses and new revenue drivers. The learning experience is very interactive. It has as well as the short videos you're watching from top professors in these 3 schools. It has live webinars, it has office hours, individual as well as team assignments, real world examples. You get, it's not peer grading, you actually get graded by professionals, by course leaders who will grade your team assignments based on their academic knowledge and experience. The course completion rate, as you can see, is 85+%, and I can tell you that I have seen some projects that the students have submitted that are just so professional that I would have no hesitation in submitting them to senior management of Tier 1 global corporations. Of course, throughout the entire process, you are guided by course leaders who are, as I said, subject matter experts who have both an academic background. I, for example, as a course leader, teach and have taught MBA courses. But more than that, they're not just academics. They're like me, they're academics who also consult to the industry and are actively working in the industry. So that's a really positive advantage for you in terms of your course leaders and their ability to connect their experience and provide you with to the point feedback on your assignments and your work. So just to quickly take you through design, for each one of these, we're going to do that very quickly. Design thinking takes you through a cycle of modules that are based on MIT's approach called Real Win Worth It. If you haven't heard Real Win Worth It, we have a joke that if someone's going to wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning at the end of the course and ask you what are the 3 gateways for design thinking, you are going to say Real Win Worth It, because you're going to hear that and understand that so deeply. And I'll quickly explain what that means. Real means that there's a real need for your idea, and unfortunately a lot of startups fail because they assume that there's a need, but they never actually check that. And we will look at the main way of checking for a real need, and that's known as empathy. Empathy is a really important part of design thinking, and that means really understanding unmet needs and pain points of your market. Win, can we actually make it and make it better than our competitors? Can we beat our competitors and actually produce the service or the product that we want to bring to the world? And worth it, finally, all of that means nothing if we are not also financially viable. So we will teach you, we will use the net present value. Now, please don't be worried if you don't have an MBA or if you don't have financial background. There is no prerequisite assumption that you are coming from the financial world or from banking. Obviously, if you do, you will find the financial aspects easier, but still very, very interesting. But if you don't, that's not going to be an issue whatsoever, and you're going to find that challenging and interesting. And we help you. We really help you to get these concepts as well. Faculty is, as you can see, Professor Steve Eppinger, a real thought leader, a champion of design thinking from MIT University. Written a lot of books, very well respected. Both in the academic world and in the business community through the leadership and consulting work that he has done. All right, so if there's any questions at this point, I know I'm kind of speaking maybe a little bit fast. I hope I'm not speaking too fast and everyone is following me. We're going to do a little exercise about need fighting. So I'm going to show you a video. What I would like you to do as you're watching the video, I'd like you to type into chat, drop into chat what observations. So not solutions yet. You'll see that there are needs that are probably quite a few needs you will notice are not being met. Let's start off with just observations. What can you observe about the situation that you're going to see? So I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to do a share of the video. And please type into chat. And don't be afraid of wrong answers. One of the things that we encourage is for people to try and to share their thoughts. There's absolutely definitely at this point, there are no wrong answers. We are really interested in your observations. So please have a look and let us know. Oh, let me just make sure that I've got the volume for that set. Yes, share sound is good. And now I'm going to make sure that the video is on. Did I turn it off? This is the thing about Zoom. Zoom can get very picky in terms of its use, but let's do that. So I've got that up, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the video with you. So please, yeah, please do type in your observations as you're watching.
Yeah, I'm headed there now. Okay, on my way. Good.
You're good?
Yeah. No, that's okay. Yeah.
All right.
Very good,
I don't
Alok.
talk on the phone when you're.
All right, wonderful. So what do we have? Let me just bring the chat back up because it comes off, unfortunately, every time that you switch sources. So there it is there. Wonderful. So yes, he was in a hurry. He's multitasking. Anybody else apart from Alok wants to share? What else did you notice? He was racing against time, wasn't he, Deepa? Except that no one saw your comment. Please do update yourself, Deepa, to all panelists and attendees in the drop down for the chat. So user-friendly phone for the bike is probably a need. He needs a user-friendly phone. So the observation, however, is that he doesn't have a user-friendly phone. There is no path for the cycle. Very good, Janet. What other observations can we make? He is doing things randomly, says Adnan. Very good, very good. So observation, you will find, is crucial in design thinking. It's one of the ways that we achieve empathy. By empathy, of course, we're talking about really understanding needs, especially unmet needs and pain points. He's back to see, it seems to be an abstraction. Very good, Janet. A lot of people missed that. Yes, so there's definitely a lot of things we can improve, but before we jump to what we need to improve, let's observe. And once we observe, we can, and by the way, there are other things you can do. You could interview that courier, can't you? You can interview them even in today's COVID environment. You could do a Zoom interview with him and with other couriers, and as well as your observations, you can get some very important information from him and ask him questions about his experience. And from that, we put all that together and we come up with needs. Now, why is it so important, do you think, to understand unmet needs? Does anybody want to answer that? See if you're following. So let me just bring the deck back. So why do you think in design thinking it's so important to understand needs? It's important, right? Because if we don't understand needs, how do we know that we are solving a problem? We want to make sure that we're solving a problem. So here's some of the observations, right? The road conditions, his helmet, the way that he's not using a hands-free phone, and from that we can work out what his needs are. If he's got a problem with the phone, he obviously needs hands-free control. He needs some navigational instructions. So you can see that there's a process, and that's one of the powerful things about design thinking. It's both a process and a collection of tools. And here you can absolutely right, Satish. It allows you to identify a problem, to create a clear problem statement in order then to come up with a solution. Very, very good. I think you have some experience with design thinking. That's a great answer. Some examples of designs from one of the teams, and you can see here that they used empathy and they used the design thinking process. This is from a real team that did this diploma to come up with a product to help bicyclists and motorbike riders to navigate. So design thinking, really, I can't state enough what an important and powerful tool it is. It really is a must-have, and it will help you, irrespectively of what your role is, to better understand customer needs, including internal customers. A lot of people forget that, but employees are internal customers, and so a lot of people, especially in finance or HR or strategy or any department that provides services to internally in the company, find this very, very useful, because then they can make those services much more customer centric, where their customers are internal customers. So as you can see from this slide, this really is a tool that is being adopted, and it's not just Apple, Virgin, and Toyota. It's pretty much Tier 1, Tier 2, and now even Tier 3 companies globally understanding that they must have the skill in-house, otherwise they'll be relying on consultants all their life. And so if you have that skill and you are in a company or you're in a consultancy, you're going to make a huge difference in the value that you bring. What will you have upon completion? You'll understand the real win Werther's framework, which really is the framework of the gateways for design thinking, you'll have a best practice process. Okay, that's really, really important, because I can tell you, as a former innovation manager at a multinational corporation, one of the biggest mistakes that companies make is that they don't use best practice when it comes to innovation, and each one tries to invent the wheel from the beginning, and along the way they make a lot of mistakes. And in a way, that's good for me as a consultant, because I can come in and help them. But in another way, I am saddened to see how companies miss the power of innovation, and actually with that, when they don't use design thinking, when they don't use the courses, the information that you'll be learning here, they can actually cause damage and actually make matters worse in the company when you're not using best practice processes and best practice tools. Very quickly, I want to in the next 5 minutes or so summarize the other two courses. I know we spent a lot of time on design thinking, but Breakthrough Innovation is a course that follows design thinking. You're going to absolutely love it. In this picture here, we're looking at a question really that looks at a battle between the Delhi Sultanate and Timur Khan from the Mongols, which Timur Khan was able to win, even though he faced elephants and he wasn't ready for the elephants. And the way he did that, he used thinking inside the box using the closed world approach. So if you don't know the story, what he actually did is he gathered the weeds from the battlefield, tied them to the camels, and burned them. So the camels were actually flaming with these weed, with the weed packages on top of them, running towards the elephants. The elephants panicked and turned around and started trampling the soldiers. So breakthrough innovation often allows us to identify a problem and then actually use that problem to our advantage. And that's a very powerful technique that you learn about. It's covered in the book Inside the Box by Professor Goldenberg, who was my professor from my MBA. So I'm still in touch with him, and we collaborate on academic projects together. You're going to absolutely love this course. It's actually a lot of fun. If you like solving puzzles, if you like inventing new things, and you want to be given a great methodology for doing that, you're going to really, really enjoy this course. You're going to enjoy the fact that on the one hand, it's very structured. And this is actually one of the ironies of innovation. Everybody thinks that innovation and creativity requires you to just think outside the box and be crazy and come up with crazy ideas. Guess what? Actually, the opposite is true. If you use best practice and you use proven methodologies and proven processes, you can achieve much higher creativity and innovative ideas than if you're just thrown into a room and told, hey, think, and you're not given any methodologies or tools to do that with. So we will cover the 5 main methodologies: subtraction, task unification, multiplication, division, and attribute dependency. As we said, with assignments and team assignments and lots of examples and industry examples, you're going to absolutely love it. So the final course is 3-box. This is really a game changer, and for a lot of people that I've spoken to, for a lot of my students who've graduated from this diploma, they all said that as interesting and relevant as design thinking and SIT, breakthrough innovation, is to them, this course was a game changer for them, because this is the first course that they actually were taught what to do after an idea that they have or that their team has is green lighted by management. And one of the biggest problems I can tell you as a innovation consultant in innovation management is that even when companies and organizations reach good ideas, and often they don't, again, because they don't use design thinking enough, or they don't use SIT, breakthrough innovation, they don't know what to do with those ideas. They don't know how to convert a winning idea into new product, new service, new business model. And that's really important. And this is what this course will teach you. It will teach you the strategy not only coming up and ideating box 3 ideas, box 3, of course, being future ideas that will create new businesses for you, but also how to implement them in a way that will ensure that they survive and as opposed to being killed. If you want to see some examples of innovation, internal startup killers, look at Cisco, look at Intel. Unfortunately, their history is littered with startups that they either tried to create or bought and managed to drive them into the ground. The last one, and this is the one of the last ones from Intel, if you're interested, is Intel's digital wearable division, where they spent $500 million building this division and closed it simply because they made pretty much every mistake that this course is teaching you to avoid. So if you want to avoid the minefields of mistakes that corporations and organizations make when it comes to implementing ideation ideas, winning ideation ideas, and taking them into the next stage, this is a great course. You will learn about how to manage the future, how to create future innovation, whilst at the same time ensuring that your present business is creating innovation. And a great example for that is New York Times. Because when New York Times back in the late 1990s realized that this thing called internet, pretty much like Jeff Bezos, if you read a little bit about Amazon and Jeff Bezos, who saw in the mid to late 90s this phenomenon called the internet with growth in thousands of percent. So I think it was 2,700% growth at some point. They said, well, we can't just innovate by making our current business better. So we can't just, add color to newspapers. We have to change the business model. And so the New York Times Online was born. And that's a great example. We're going to look at that in more detail when we are learning the strategic innovation course. So you'll understand really how to create innovation that's not only relevant to your present business, or your present organization. Again, I keep on saying business, but please be aware that even if you're coming from a non-for-profit or from an NGO, it still is absolutely just as relevant, because even, for example, in my current cohort, I have about 5 students from the United Nations, and they're finding this fascinating because believe it or not, even organizations that are not for profit, like the United Nations, need to innovate and need to create future solutions for future problems that develop in the world. All right, the final course is your capstone assignment. It's going to put all the 3 courses together. You will do a team assignment where you will need to apply your knowledge from design thinking, from breakthrough innovation, and from strategic innovation in a single course. It's a very challenging course. Participants have to put a lot of effort into it as a team, but it's totally manageable as well. And that's really important to remember. We do it in such a way as to give you enough time. You get 5.5, 6 weeks to go through this course. I say 5.5, 6 weeks because the last week we actually review and do presentations. And that's another great thing about this diploma, is we do a lot of role play. You get to pitch, you learn to pitch your ideas, and you get to pitch your ideas to your fellow students as well, which is something that I think is a really important skill. Here's an example of the certificate you get. You can see that it's branded with MIT, with Columbia, and with Dartmouth, as well as with the Emeritus brand. And now it's also linked with LinkedIn. So, and one of the things that I also noticed recently is that students who excel and get distinction badges, those are published to their LinkedIn accounts, and that's a big source of pride for the students in this course as well. Fees. So the program fee is, as you can see here, $3,000 US. You have obviously flexible payment options. The important date is the 4th of May. That's when the program starts, and the application deadline is 2 days before that. If you have any questions about any fee and application costs, do ask via Q&A, and one of the Emeritus experts here on the panel will answer you. And very quickly, before we go to our alumni, I want to say that another great thing is the Emeritus Network, and this is a network of all past graduates. You can use it also for career investment, for networking, obviously, for looking for work, for looking for investment into your any startup ideas you have, to look for partners. Very powerful network of global professionals with knowledge and experience that you can leverage to make your career better and to make the world a better place. Let's not forget that. That's also very important. All right. So upon completion, you will see that the network also gives you additional benefits. It gives you tuition assistance, as well as connecting you, as we said, to this fantastic network, whether you're looking for collaboration or capital raising, or looking for employees, or looking for work yourself. All right, so we're a few minutes behind schedule, but that's okay. We are very fortunate and grateful for Stephen Mykwicki, who's going to turn his video on and join us any second now. And what I would like to do is introduce Stephen. Stephen is a alumni. He's a graduate of this diploma. And oh, wonderful. How are you, Stephen? Thank you for joining us. Great to have you with us.
Good, Eli. Yes.
Wonderful. I was hoping to find out from you if you can please share with us a little bit about. Obviously, please introduce yourself, but tell us a little bit about your background and what you're currently doing as well.
Thank you, Eli. Thank you for this opportunity. Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen Mykwicki. I'm based out of Nairobi, Kenya. I've worked in consumer marketing for about 13 years across different sectors in the service industry, food and beverage, and tech pharma as well, in both startup and corporate environments at the same time. I took a sabbatical for about 3 years in 2018, and I wanted to take an inflection point in my career and really get to understand what was going to be next for me. And over the course of that sabbatical, I got an opportunity to consult for small and medium-sized businesses in Nairobi. And while doing that, I did encounter certain challenges that were not marketing related. So I wasn't really able to exert myself as much to solve their problems and their needs.
Understood. And tell us, please, how did you come across this diploma? What and why did you choose this? I'm sure that you probably were comparing alternatives. It wasn't just that you saw the Emeritus diploma.
Yeah, like I mentioned, over the course of that sabbatical, I encountered some challenges and some problems with different clients that I really wasn't able to solve because at the core I was a marketer, and yet I came across some operational challenges, some administrative challenges, some strategic challenges as well. So I was really looking out to study design thinking, and I was trawling the web looking for design thinking courses. I came across the design thinking course on the MIT website, and while doing some research on it, I came across some referrals online that led me to the Emeritus website, and I came across this course, the PG Diploma course, and what I loved about it and why I chose it was the fact that I was not only going to interact or engage with design thinking, which was what I was interested in at the time, but I was going to learn something else in the other two courses that were offered. And the course duration was about the same. the value was great, and it seemed like a great fit. And they had an intake starting in a month from the time I saw it. So I reached out to Emeritus, and a program advisor got in touch. He gave me a call and really got to understand what my learning objectives were and what I was trying to achieve with myself, and shared a lot of information about the course. He did send me a lot of reading, a lot of links to past participants and their experiences and references. And I was really convinced at the time that it was the right thing to do.
Well, thank you for that. That's very informative. Can you tell us a little bit more about your learning journey, including highlights, challenges that you faced? I think a lot of students, a lot of future students would find that very interesting.
Sure. I think overall I'd sum up the learning journey as eye-opening, and it was really amazing. Just starting out the course, I had a lot of anxiety because my background was not in design thinking or even in innovation management at the time. I was anxious because I wasn't sure how well I would understand or relate with the concepts that were shared in the course. But just at the start, at the onset of the course, hearing from the course leaders who set a very clear expectation of the coming weeks of the course, and just broke down the course concepts into very simple, easy to understand, bite-sized learning chunks. I think over a few weeks, I think 1-2 weeks, I was very at ease. The learning platform was very easy to use. It was very intuitive. The videos were short and brief. I come from a generation where we are a deficit of attention. We have a short attention span. So having the videos in 10 to 15 minute or less bite-sized chunks was really nice for me, because I could engage with the content on the go in traffic. Nairobi is known for its traffic, so I could sit in traffic and watch 1 or 2 videos as I go to work or coming back from the office. The courses also included opportunities every week where we could have a call and engage with the course leaders and get practical insights other than the academic insights that we were getting from the course faculty. So from Eli and Brian and everyone else who was our course facilitator, we really learned a lot, and it was a very useful time having those office hours. So the learning journey, I'd say, was great. Design thinking, which was the course I was looking to study, was all I expected and more. I got to really get into myself and understand how well or how best to understand user needs and solve for those needs. But the big bonus for me was the other 2 courses as well. Breakthrough innovation it blew me away. I had no idea what to expect. I had never heard of systematic inventive thinking or even the concept of closed world. That was my first time. And just getting into it and seeing the approach, working backwards from a product or service and coming back to an innovation was a real aha moment for me. I really enjoyed and valued that the tools and methodologies were very practical and they were easy to relate to. So whether you're a marketer or a doctor, I found that it could apply to anyone in any stage of their life or their career or their business. So the last course, I think, was the Strategies Innovation course. For me, it got me introspecting a lot about how I think about the future. The course really pushes you to a point where you start to think what 10 years from now that business looks like, and gets you to focus on dedicating the time now to make that future, as well as getting the current engine to deliver on the performance of the business at the time. So all in all, I think the learning journey was really great and really eye-opening.
Wonderful. And how did you feel on the fourth course, the capstone? Was that challenging, or do you think, would you say it's challenging but doable, or did it scare you at first?
I'll give you a couple of answers to this one, because I got a couple of experiences from my team as well, my capstone team. It wasn't the same for all of us. I liked that it was a build-up. I feel like the capstone was a build-up of the three courses. We were able to partially apply the solution to the capstone in the first course, and again, partially in the second course. So bringing it together for me was a bit more familiar. I didn't feel like I was starting from scratch. It was challenging in the sense that we had to sort of merge the three concepts and apply them to solving one problem. But the moment we got around to selecting a challenge to solve, I think it was a lot easier to identify what tools and what methodologies to apply where. So the capstone, I think for me was a real highlight. Having a great team to work with all through the course. We had the same team for our group assignments all through the first course, second course, and third course, and it was the same capstone team. We were familiar with each other's working routines, even though we were coming from different time zones. So we had already gathered a rhythm. It was a bit easier for us to get together over WhatsApp. We engaged with each other over the course of the day, then had calls once or twice a week. So it was familiar and it wasn't too difficult. So I think that's something you should look forward to.
Wonderful. And tell me, what impact do you feel that that the diploma had on your career? Maybe you could share that with us as well.
I think it's had a big impact. I'll start by saying just interacting with people from different countries, different backgrounds professionally and culturally was a real eye-opener. Being able to work with a capstone group where the team was so diverse. I think I'll just share this. I was the youngest in my group. I'm only 35. And that's not a little. And the eldest in our team was double my age. He was 70. And he was an experienced strategy consultant. So just that diverse mix brought to the fore an experience that I don't think I could have gotten doing this any other way. Learning from different teams as they presented their capstones or as we reviewed their capstones also just showed how differently people approach problems. And it was really eye-opening. Outside of the program itself, I was able to make a call on my career direction. And as of this week, I'm proud to say that I'm starting a new job. Started day before yesterday. Now working at a leading beverage brand globally, leading the sports marketing.
Well, congratulations for that, Stephen. And just for the final question, what advice, if any, would you give to students, future students, to succeed and really get the maximum out of this diploma?
I think the best way to get the best out of this course is to take it in bite-sized chunks as it's presented, engage with the content dedicatedly 30 minutes every day or 4 to 6 hours every week. Don't let it rack up, don't let it pile up all the way till the end. I realized the more and more I familiarize myself with the course content a bit at a time, the easier it was to crystallize the concepts. I would also say that the course itself is kind of designed for you to succeed. The way it's presented, the quality of the faculty, how the videos are structured from, the course is structured from discussion groups, which are as easy as a social media post, to quizzes, which are multiple choice, to essay type questions. It's designed for you to succeed. It's not made to be difficult. I think all you need to do is exert yourself. Don't leave it till the end. Work dedicatedly 4 to 6 hours a week and you will do great.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that experience, and we wish you, all of us wish you a lot of success in your new role. It sounds very exciting, very interesting, and what a great opportunity to apply all your learned skills into this role. That's just really fantastic.
Thank you, Eli. I think I owe it to you and the team.
I am humbled by that. I'm humbled by that. Thank you, Stephen. What we're going to do right now in the 10 minutes that we have remaining is we are going to take questions. So please, ladies and gentlemen, please type in your questions into Q&A. You can address your questions to Stephen, to myself, to Eli, or to the Emeritus team. Really, any question you have, we will answer them, and we also will have probably the Emeritus team typing answers into Q&A. So don't be shy. I'm sure that you all have some questions to ask, and we're really looking forward to. I can see already some people are already looking at questions. There's a question for you, Stephen. Are you able to see the Q&A? Would you like to read the question? Read the question and then answer it.
Sure. So the question comes from Adnan. He asks, Stephen, how useful you think the course has helped you in the past 1 year during pandemic, as you learned in the pre-COVID times? That's a good question, Adnan. I think I was having this conversation with Eli just before we started this call, and I was telling him that I started this course. I graduated December 2020. We started March 2020. So at the point I was making this decision to start the course, we were already getting into this period of uncertainty. And I wasn't sure what business would look like, how I would be able to continue to engage with the clients working from home, whether they'd continue to require my services, given that some of the projects were long-term. It just got us thinking that disruption will always happen. It might be COVID now. I think there are other forms of disruption that are happening day to day, but we have to be very concerted about what we do today and now. That's what we have control of. So just that step to take the course, I think for me was a big one. It got me moving rather than sit back and say, I'm not sure what's going to happen next. I just took that step and got it moving. And it's similar for business and companies that are working in these uncertain times. You can't be too certain of the future. I think it's covered in one of the courses. I believe it's Strategies Innovation. We can't be 100% certain of the future, but we can make the future now. And it starts with making these deliberate steps to innovate. So I think my mindset and my mentality is very different now from the time before I started the course.
Thank you so much.
Your question, Edmund.
It does. I just heard some feedback, but yes, that's great. I've got a question from Deepa. Would we be providing with recordings in case we miss a class? Absolutely, absolutely. All classes, all live sessions are recorded. Program support places them within 24 hours. The recording, as well as the PDF of the deck, is added to Canvas, which is the platform that you are using to study with. And so yes, we always encourage you to join sessions live, simply because you can ask questions and you can get a lot more value. But yes, if you miss any of the live sessions, absolutely. And also you can engage with course leaders outside of class hours through the Canvas inbox. So if you don't understand or you want clarification on any of the course materials, and I have to say that I am very proud of the course leaders for being very responsive. Answers, our SLA is 24 to 48 hours, and Stephen will probably agree with that, but most students find that they answered within a few hours. Of course, of course, not accounting for time zone changes.
Time difference, yeah.
And time differences, but yes, usually course leaders are very responsive, and you can definitely ask additional questions during that time. So that's for Deepa. Any other questions to either Stephen, myself, or any logistical questions to Emeritus? Emeritus managers that are here with us in the panel. Please don't be shy. This is really a great opportunity. We have 5 minutes left. Let's use it productively and make sure that that all your questions are answered. Because if not, I will need to think of new questions to ask you, Stephen.
Sure thing.
Okay, here we go. There's a question for you, Stephen. You are more than happy to. I'm more than happy for you to read it, and I will take Janet's questions afterwards.
Sure. I've seen a question from Murendeni. Hi, Steve. How does this course impact digital transformation? I think we tend to box innovation or think of innovation in the context of digital only. Sometimes I used to make that mistake a lot and think that I could throw money or technology onto a problem and solve it. And especially with the breakthrough innovation course, that aspect of thinking within the closed world or using the resources we have to address our problems. Digital transformation is happening, whether we like it or not, in a lot of industries and sectors. This course, I think, will kind of frame it in the right context without necessarily using it as the end all, if that makes sense. I didn't feel like this course was purely about digital transformation, but helped me understand innovation in a lot of lenses outside of digital transformation.
Perfect answer. I just want to quickly add to that. It's
Sure.
not a digital transformation diploma. It's not a digital transformation course. It doesn't specifically focus on that. However, digital transformation does not exist in a vacuum. Yeah. Just like marketing doesn't exist in a vacuum. You have to connect it to something, and design thinking and the other courses will ensure that when you are doing digital transformation, your solutions, your digital solutions are based on real needs. They're based on needs that are not only real, but your digital transformation solutions will be viable. They'll be financially viable. They'll be feasible to create. So the structure, whilst not specific for digital transformation, is a great structure for any kind of innovation project that you need to face. Very quickly, Janet, how are the students graded? It is a mixture of quizzes, of individual assignments, of group assignments, and of contribution to discussions. So it's quite a good mixture with different aspects of your knowledge being tested. And Naifu, what are the breakthrough and opportunities in African context? I think that's for you, Stephen, as the representative of the African continent here. I'm on a different continent, so I'm happy for you to answer that.
Sure. Just before I answer that one, there's one we've answered from Adnan, who was asking just how long the course content is available after the completion of the course.
That. Yes.
Yeah. I think I answered it, and it went out of the chat box. But Adnan, to answer you and everyone else, the course content, I believe, is available 1 year after. Up to 1 year after the course completion. I still have access till now, even though I graduated in December. And I occasionally reference a lot of the content just to refresh the knowledge I learned. So go for it. You'll be able to access the content and refresh your knowledge up to a year after. So the question from Nafiu, what are the breakthrough and opportunities in the African context about the course, and the challenges you face after graduation? So it's interesting you asked this. There was 2 Africans in my CAPSTONE team and 3 people outside of the African continent. One of the concepts we learned about over the course was the concept of reverse innovation. I think while the course doesn't cover innovation in the context or subtext of a specific geography, you get to understand just how to solve a problem in one place and how that can be scaled back to another place. So I think in the African context, there's a lot of opportunities. If you're interested in figuring how to scale these backwards or reverse them backwards, take the course. I'd say go for it. What challenges did I face after graduation? I can't say I have faced any. I was happy to get 2 distinctions out of 3. I planned to get 3 out of 3 at the start, but I think I slacked off on the 3rd course a bit. But I was happy to get 2 out of 3 distinctions. I'm still in touch with my CAPSTONE group. We still chat frequently. So I think it's been a good experience. I haven't faced any challenges, I'd say. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I see that we are out of time. So thank you. If you have any additional questions, do send them in and to Emeritus. Perhaps program support can type in the email where any additional questions can go in for people who feel that maybe they haven't had a chance to ask. You can see that there is a link where you can start your application, and there is probably going to be an email that program support will type in shortly for any additional questions that you want to ask. So and that would be great. So first of all, thank you. I want to thank Stephen very much for his sharing his experiences, and I want to thank all of you for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you in the program, and it really is a game changer. I don't think there's any hyperbole in that. It's easily the top diploma for innovation available on the market. It combines two of the most powerful ideation techniques, design thinking and SIT, breakthrough innovation, and tops it off with a strategic approach as well as a capstone. So it gives you all of that experience together, and really looking forward to seeing as many of you make the decision to make this change and really up your career futures and prospects. So we'll wrap it up there and let you move on to your next Zoom call, or your next meeting, or maybe your next break. And I want to thank once again Stephen, thank everybody from Emeritus who has joined, and yes, wishing everybody to stay safe, of course, and stay well and get vaccinated soon, I hope, and looking forward to seeing you all in the upcoming course. So thank you, and bye for now.